jumper from 18. It's good! Paul George with 32, and the Clippers lead 93-92. 1:05 to play. George picked up by Jackson, and the Clippers will look to drain some clock with a minute remaining. Get it to George. 32 points for the man tonight. PG-13 draining some clock. Crowd is into it. He wants a one-on-one with Bazley with 10 to shoot. George dancing on Bazley, driving right, crossover left. George back and forth he goes to Jackson left wing. Sets the feet, doesn't take the three with 2 seconds left. Floater on the way at the horn, rolls through. Big government with a bailout with 36.7 seconds remaining, and George greets Jackson with a bear hug at midcourt. The Clippers take a 95-92 lead on a 13-1 run, and with 36.7 seconds remaining, Oklahoma City calls a timeout. What a huge moment for Reggie Jackson, who has struggled all season long. He has struggled tonight once again, and after George put them up by calmly knocking down the mid-range jumper, then got the steal, Jackson comes the other way, late shot clock, and puts in a tough bucket on a floater to give the Clippers a little breathing room at 95-92. 13-1 run over 158. It's been less than 2 minutes. They look down and out, down by 8 with 3 minutes remaining, and this has turned in a hurry. And how great a moment. Paul George greeting his best friend at midcourt and just saying, that's why we got you here. That's why we got you here. 36.7 seconds remaining. Clippers leading 95-92. One more stop here, and the Clippers will feel like they're in good position to potentially almost steal a win, as crazy as that sounds, against the Thunder, trailing for the vast majority of this game by as many as 15 in the second quarter. Gilgeous-Alexander has been a killer once again tonight. 26 points on 10 of 22 shooting. Giddey and Bazley each have 15. Nobody else in double figures for the Thunder. George with 32, 13 for Jackson, 12 for Kennard, 14 for Batum, 10 for Mann. Giddey on the floor with Muscala, Maladone, Bazley, and SGA. Clippers have Winslow out there for defensive purposes with Batum, Jackson, George, and Mann. Giddey will inbound on the near sideline. 36.7 seconds remaining. He is waiting for the ball from James Williams. The rookie has it in his grasp. Squeezing it on his right hip. Chest pass goes to Muscala. Hands it right back to Giddey. Face guarding SGA is Terrence Mann. Giddey back to Muscala on the right wing. Three for the tie. Missed it short. Weak side, a rebound to George. 5 seconds separate shot clock and game clock. Let's see if Oklahoma City elects to foul here. George top of the key. Driving middle. Kick out near side corner. Mann will dribble it out. Waste some clock here. Nearly throws it away. And we've got a foul. No, a kick ball. It'll stay with the Clippers. Man, that was a nervy pass from Terrence Mann. Just 2 seconds separating the shot clock and game clock now. Winslow will go to the bench and Kennard will come in for shooting purposes. And let's see if OKC changes their mentality with just those 2 seconds of separation. Kennard will go into the backcourt. Batum, Mann, George, and Jackson stay on the floor. Maladone is back on for Muscala for defensive purposes after Muscala missed the three on the last possession. Batum inbounding with 16 seconds left on the near sideline. Get it to George. Back to Batum on the right wing. Batum hands it off Kennard, and he is fouled 35 feet out. So Luke Kennard will go to the free throw line. I'm not going to tell you his percentage on the season with 12.5 seconds remaining. Well, let's just say that if I were a baseball announcer, you'd understand why. So Kennard will go to the free throw line with a chance to give the Clippers a 2-possession lead. He has had a solid game, 4 of 8 from 3. And out of bounds. It's out of bounds. It looked like SGA was the last to touch it. They call it Thunder basketball with 7 seconds left. They cannot review this. This is a new rule in the final 2 minutes. It has to be triggered by a coach's challenge. And it was bang bang. Get it in SGA. Short corners fadeaway jumper on the far side. He put it in. 4.2 seconds remaining. Clippers by 3. 97-94. Tyronn Lue calls the timeout. So Gilgeous-Alexander, a tough bucket, 28 points on the night with 7 rebounds, 2 assists, a block, and 2 steals. 40 minutes played for The young man out of Kentucky who signed a 5-year, $173 million extension beginning next year. The Thunder have locked him up for the next 6 seasons, and rightfully so. The Clippers would have, they tried, let me put it this way. Clippers tried everything they possibly could to keep Shai Gilgeous-Alexander on this roster, but it was a non-starter for Oklahoma City to make the deal with Paul George. They wanted SGA. They knew what they were doing. Sam Presti is one of the greatest minds in basketball, and he nailed it. SGA is a talent and then some. But the task at hand right now is getting a W, the second of the season, as the Clippers have 4.2 seconds remaining, up by 3. Luke Kennard, by the way, told you I wasn't going to tell you before. I'll tell you after. He's now 5 for 5 at the free throw line on the season. And L.A. is 4.2 seconds away from its second victory of the year in dramatic fashion. And this, it feels eerily similar to that Atlanta game last year where they were down 22 in the third quarter, and they made that storming comeback, and Nick Batum even said it during the postseason. He felt something was born that night. Something could be born tonight. Exactly what the doctor ordered, knocking down some threes and getting some crucial stops. Batum will inbound to the front court. They're scattered in the front and back court with 4.2 seconds remaining. Batum to Jackson, top of the key, who dribbles away initially, but then he's grabbed from behind by Gilgeous-Alexander with 2.9 seconds remaining. And Reggie Jackson will go to the free throw line, trying to put this game on ice and back to a 2-possession lead. Jackson 1 for 2 at the line tonight. 13 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists. Had the big bucket to put the Clippers up by 3 here in the fourth quarter. Hearing it from the crowd once again. Spins the ball in his left hand. Jackson bends the knees, releases, connects. 14 for Reggie. Clippers lead 98-94. One more coming to get this to a 5-point lead with 2.9 seconds left. OKC does have 1 timeout remaining. They'll likely take it after the second free throw. But Jackson can get this to 99-94 if he knocks this one down. It's on the way. It's good. Clippers lead 99-94. Mark Daignault uses his final timeout with 2.9 seconds remaining, and will look to draw something up to try to somehow get a miracle in his favor. Reggie Miller type play with even less time. 2.9 seconds remaining. It would be nearly impossible to overcome a 5-point deficit. And the reason I say something could be born tonight is because it's exactly the type of game the Clippers needed to have. Down, in these previous 2 games against Cleveland and Portland, they brought it to within a possession in the second half many times. Against Cleveland, they had it in the third quarter, early fourth quarter. It felt like they were right there, and then they just couldn't get over the top. Against Portland on Friday night, they had it to within 2, within 3 on a number of occasions. Couldn't get that final bucket to go down or that final stop to complete the run. And here tonight, in the final 3 minutes, down by 8, go on a fantastic run, put themselves in prime position to win this basketball game and get off this 2-game losing streak. It doesn't matter how you win. You don't get style points in the NBA. It's all about wins and losses, and this would be a huge victory, not just moral, but of course in the W column as well. Giddey, Bazley, Maledon, Muscala, and Gilgeous-Alexander on the floor for OKC. It's Batum, Jackson, George, Kennard, and Mann for the Clippers. 2.9 seconds remaining. Giddey will inbound on the near sideline in the front court. Clippers leading 99-94 over the Thunder. Giddey has it in his grasp. Holds on his right hip, surveys, looks. Near side corner, Maledon will try the open 3, missed it short, and that's how this ball game comes to a close. A necessary victory for the Clippers as they put that 2-game losing streak behind them. A 17-3 run in the final 2 minutes and 34 seconds after trailing by 9, and the Clippers defeat the Oklahoma City Thunder at home 99-94 to improve to 2-4 on the young season. Paul George is starting to make that MVP case. I told you, the Nuggets last year started 1-4 on the season, and it was Nikola Jokic and his heroics that kept them afloat and kept them churning forward, eventually led to him earning the MVP of the NBA. Well, Paul George now has 30 or more points in 4 of 6 games this season. He's got 40 or more in 2 of those. And the Clippers are 2-4 after a hard-fought, gutsy win. And by the way, for all those who still want to say that Paul George isn't clutch, I don't know what to tell you. 99-94, Clippers with a huge win in this one and improved to 2-4 on the season. So, a big win for the Clippers as they get it done down the stretch on a come-from-behind victory, down by 9 with just a couple minutes remaining. George with 32, 14 for Batum, 15 for Jackson, 10 for Mann, and 14 for Kennard. That'll do it for us from Staples Center for Big Brother Jake Warner. Dennis D'Agostino back in the fold. And, of course, Adam E. Austin. No Eagles saying so long from downtown Los Angeles. We appreciate each and every one of you for joining us tonight. We hope you do the same on Wednesday night in Minneapolis. A double home series, if you call a mini series, with the Timberwolves for the Clippers as they head to the Twin Cities, taking on the Timberwolves, a much improved Timberwolves squad with Karl-Anthony Towns, Anthony Edwards, and we'll see if D'Angelo Russell is available on Wednesday. Once again, your final score, 99-94. Clippers get past the Oklahoma City Thunder, get to 2-4 on the season. Post-game coverage is coming up next with Double A on the Clippers Radio Network.
Coming into this year, I saw what I needed to see. I think this group proved what we can accomplish. You know, I'm ready. I'm ready for the fight for this year. I've been in this position, so it gives me a level of comfort. I'm ready to lead.
This has been LA Clippers basketball.
Paul George on the far side. Too much sauce.
Stick around for Clippers Locker Room.
Paul George stays hot. Butter for the mid-range.
LA Clippers basketball is brought to you by the Sorrento from Kia, official vehicle of the LA Clippers. And by Coors Light, mountain cold refreshment, made to chill. Stick around for Clippers Locker Room on your home for the LA Clippers.
Every new Toyota comes with peace of mind standard. That's because you get Toyota Care no-cost maintenance when you buy or lease any new Toyota. Toyota Care covers normal factory scheduled service for 2 years or 25,000 miles, whichever comes first, as well as 24-hour roadside assistance and lockout protection. See your Toyota dealer for details and exclusions. Valid only in the continental U.S. and Alaska.
We make it easy on you.
Toyota, let's go places.
Are you ordering?